Hello, I'm Tyson Freeze. I'm going to present on SwiftUI and SwiftCharts, which are part of the Apple development ecosystem to make all kinds of applications. So first, a little conversation about Swift. In Swift, Swift is the programming language created by Apple to be used with these frameworks. Uh, we have something called closures. Closures are really similar to Lambda functions from Python. The only difference is which variables are visible, which are in the scope of that function. In closure, more variables are in the scope of those functions than Lambda functions. But the syntax is quite similar, as you can see. They're, they're really common in Swift as function parameters. So you can see here, we get a dot sorted function, which will sort an array. But we need a function to determine how we want to sort it. We define that function as backward, and then we get a list of reverse names. Well, what if we don't want to use backward all that often? We just want it this one time. We can just define it in line. That's kind of hard to read. So there's a shortcut syntax called a trailing closure. Trailing closures take the last parameter. If the last parameter is a function, then it will just put these curly braces on the end and it'll accept that as the last parameter. Here, sorted only has one parameter. The last parameter is this function, and it's the only one. So we don't even need the parentheses. So you can see those are missing. Instead, we just take this function body, and that gets passed in as the parameter, and everything's easy to read and understood by Swift. So what is SwiftUI? It's Apple's new declarative approach to UI design, and it's really best understood when we compare it to what was, which was an imperative approach using storyboards and UIKit. So we have storyboards here on the right, and UIKit on the left. Storyboard, we would drag and drop UI elements onto this view, and then we would connect them to our code using these IB outlets. IB outlets, as you can see, are kind of a mouthful. They're a lot to read, and they're a little confusing. You can see here, we got count complete, count pending, count uploaded. You can see them down here. We don't want our app to read in # complete. We want it to have a number there. But in order to do that, we have to explicitly tell UIKit to update those text labels. All that is what we mean by imperative. It's commanding. It's telling UIKit and storyboards what to do. Well, SwiftUI takes a different approach, a declarative approach, where we just say, this is what we want, and things happen abstracted away. So we've got a view here, an album detail view, with a variable for an album and then a body. And this body is what we end up seeing. It's a closure. You can see the closure. It creates a view. And this list will create a view. And here's the closure for how to create the view using that list. And here's an H stack. We got this list here of songs. The H stack is a horizontal stack, microphone and some text. It's got the image that's on the left of the stack, and then this vertical stack, which has two text items on top of each other. And in that way, we can easily see what's going on here. And as our data changes, this will automatically update, which is a lot simpler to read than before. It's concise, readable, and maintainable. We also get a live preview. This is the live preview. As we type in code, this will automatically update and we can see what we're doing. With UIKit and Storyboard, we would have to load it onto a simulator, which could take a couple seconds to a couple minutes, depending on the size of your app. We also get cross-platform deployments. There's a lot of operating systems Apple has. And rather than code for each of them, with SwiftUI, we can just code for all of them, which is very easy and convenient. We also get automatic responsive UI, meaning device size doesn't matter. We don't have to think about it. It will automatically scale up and change things as appropriate to be easy to use on any device. And we also get that data-driven state management, where as songs change, our list will increase in size, and we don't have to imperatively tell it every single time what to do. Last thing I want to talk about is SwiftCharts. You can see an example of a bunch of charts here. All of them are made with SwiftCharts. This is Apple's new toolkit for creating charts using SwiftUI. And there's a lot of options here. I just want to show you how simple it is. After we make a data set, everything starts with picking what mark we want to use, whether it's a bar mark, a line, a point, a ruler, a sector. You can make a pie chart. I'm just going to show you a few examples. So here's some code to make this line chart. We have some data, and then we create a line mark, and it automatically gets connected. Well, if I want it to be An area mark, all I have to do is change it from line mark to area mark and everything stays the same. Instantly have a new chart. And again, for bar mark. And the beauty of SwiftUI is we can just compose on top of this chart to make it look however we want. We don't have to reinvent the wheel to learn each of these new charts. It's a very simple, easy to read format. That's SwiftUI and SwiftCharts. Thanks for your attention.